What's up?
What's up?
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Paranormal Unveiled podcast. So, Gwen, this
Yes.
weekend was epic.
Yes.
The Salem Paranormal and Horror Convention. I feel like it was a really good turnout. We had a great crowd. And the speaking panel that we all did, I felt like it went fluidly. It went very well.
It did. Except for the mic and me, but we know how I am with electronics. So
Well,
that's a given.
I just kind of figure from now on, you're just going to stand up and yell.
It probably would be better.
Is what's going to happen. You're just going to have to stand up and yell and just be like, you know what? I don't want the mic. We're just going to have to make do with what we can do. But I feel like it was a great event. I feel like all the speakers that I could watch, as you know, I'm not used to having a vendor table, so I was trying my best to stay at the table as much as possible. And hey, Vicky, I saw you. But it's kind of a weird thing. Chris, what's going on, brother? But for me, like sitting there at the table, I'm like, man, I want to get up and wander because that's what I'm used to doing.
Yeah.
And when I can't do that, I get antsy. And then I'm like, I just want to do this. And then Morgan was all like, oh, I want to go and wander. Okay, go ahead. I'm going to sit here and watch the table. And also, I want to give a huge shout out to Morgan for the photo of us sitting in the throne at the Satanic Temple.
Yes, that was cool. That
I
was
think
cool.
that was-
But she helped me out. She walked around with me, so I kind of stole your girlfriend for a little bit.
That's
and
fine.
I got to meet Ian, so that was interesting.
So what did you think about him in person?
He was seeing who I was, and I was seeing who he was. So it was interesting because he has heard my voice how many times with you in that room, and yeah. So
and I can tell you that so far since the exchange, there has been some very interesting things. I cannot go into detail, right? Unfortunately, because as you know, me and Danny have this project, so it's a super secret on the low project. But let me tell you, some of the stuff on the first day of him going was really crazy. Kind of, I don't know exactly how to explain it, but all of that aside, today on the Paranormal Unveiled podcast, we are welcoming to the Paranormal Unveiled family, Miss Jessiy Hawthorne.
Hey.
Jessiy, how are you?
I'm doing great, and I wish I could have been there for that. Salem is like my home away from home, the East Coast. So I saw like Kara was there and a bunch of other people I know. I'm like, I wish I was there.
Yeah, and until you brought it up earlier, I completely forgot that we met at Broadhead. Like my CRS is superhuman. I meet so many people in a short period of time. I'm like, I try my best to remember who everyone is, but I barely remember who I am most of the time.
Right.
I asked her also, I said, I did meet you at Broadhead, right? Because it was basically shake hands. Hey, how you doing? I got some pictures with people. And then I went, that's how it went. And that's how a lot of the, unfortunately, a lot of the Paracons do. And
but I feel like we can all agree, though, Broadhead was absolutely amazing.
Love it.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was my second time being at Broadhead. I was there last year for Christina Bloom's Moonbow Expo, I think is what it was. So yeah, that was last year, and then I did the Rock Down this year. So it's a cool place. I like it a lot.
Yeah, and I'll be going back in June for the Bearded Brothers Brawl.
Yep.
Oh, so okay, cool.
I will be there for that. Myself, my girlfriend Morgan, and Vince Colleen will be doing a lead investigation on those nights. So
okay.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a great time. It's for charity.
Yeah.
So anything for charity is a good time. So we're just gonna. So Jessiy, when we get further into the show near the end, you realize I'm kind of like a time Nazi. So I will start asking rapid fire, really quick questions. I hope you're ready for that.
Okay, no problem.
But, so first and foremost, for the people out there that are not familiar with you and what you do in your work, I know you work with Spire Paranormal. Hi, Morgan. I know you work with Spire Paranormal. I know that you do sound healing. I know that you're a Reiki Master. You've got a bunch of stuff going on. So for people out there that don't know who you are, can you please just give us a brief synopsis of who you are in the paranormal and what you do?
Okay, so well, I've been experiencing the paranormal my whole life. And I was in the paranormal closet until about 2 years ago.
The paranormal closet. I've never heard that before.
I was there also. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, Lee.
You should coin that phrase.
What's up?
You should coin that phrase. I've never heard that used before.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, because like I talked about it and investigated, and like my close friends knew like what I did and everything, but I wasn't public about it. And then because of where I grew up, I mean, the town was like 250 people. I had no idea that there were actual conferences, or you could actually go to investigate with Dave Schrader or Chris Fleming. Like I had no clue about any of that until 2 years ago. I went to an investigation with Dave Schrader and Shane Pittman at the Joliet prison. And then
super jealous, Chicago.
And then I saw that Chris Fleming had a pop-up Paracon. And I'm like, wait, those what? I can actually meet Chris Fleming? Like, what the heck? And so I went, and then was just like, this is amazing. How can I be a part of this? And I literally kind of put that thought into the universe. Like, how could I do events like this? Like, this would be so cool. Like, this is my passion. Like, I could talk about this for days. And literally within, I think it was like literally 2 weeks after I thought about that, I had one friend message me and ask if I wanted to be a co-host on a podcast of his. And then literally later that day, my friend Jay Hill actually messaged me and asked if I'd like to be interviewed. I'm like, whoa, where did this all come from? And then my first interview was with Jay, and it was on my phone and everything. And then I had Larry Eisler asked me if I would do an event for him and his ex Allie. He's like, you're the only person I know that does Reiki, and we need a Reiki person. Can you do this expo? I'm like, wait, what?
and
like, how does this work? Oh my God. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. So the universe is like, yep, this is what you're supposed to be doing, because everything
how that works, isn't
lined up. Yeah.
And so, and I love Jay Hill. I was a guest on the Studio 6 podcast. I was a guest on another podcast of his, and I got to meet him at Broadhead. As a matter of fact, me and him went to dinner. That was the only time I got to sneak away from the building.
Yeah, I saw you guys went to dinner. I had work that Friday, so I couldn't make it until the event. But yeah, I saw you and Jay got to hang out.
No, it was great because like Bill was holding me hostage. I love Bill to death, but he's like, you
really
can't leave the building.
Not.
No, he really wasn't, because I went over to him. I was like, hey, look, me and Jay are about to go and grab dinner, man. I'm gonna be back before the investigation. Oh yeah, that's fine. Which, for the record, leading up to the investigation, I thought I was just there to participate. He did not inform me that I was going to be a lead on the event until literally 2 minutes before. And I'm like, Bill, I didn't bring any equipment with me, man. What am I supposed to work with? And he's like, don't worry, we got that covered. We got you covered. We'll make it work. Yeah, I love Bill to death, man. I love Broadhead. I love Bill. JD is amazing. Larry Eisler is another really good guy.
Yeah, he's been helping me like get my name out there, putting me on events, and like or asking if I could help him with events that he's leading and stuff like that. So he's been like a saving grace for me and walking me through how a lot of this is, because he's been doing it for so long. And you know, I'm new to the like openness and publicness of it, but I've been researching paranormal stuff since I was a kid. So like I know a lot. I've just now recently started doing the expos and events and speaking and then all of that. So it's like definitely what the universe wants me to do, because like it's probably because like my whole goal is I do love this, but I want like my story to go out there for people in case they feel like with what happened to me, there was nobody to talk to. I thought I was nuts. Like I had an attachment and stuff. I didn't know about any of this stuff. So I want my story out there for possibly one person to see it and be like, oh, I'm not alone. And maybe that will help them. Because if I would have known that there were actually like more people that were having the same stuff happen that I wouldn't have felt so isolated and alone, and it would have helped. So that's my goal, is to get everything out there, you know, for a selfless purpose. Like, you know,
do you have a book written?
I just started it. Just started it.
Well, I was going to say, the editor, Nate, Vicky, was on. She said hello first, Vicky. Vicky.
Oh, hi.
I would highly recommend her to publish your book. She published mine. She's amazing.
Yeah, I literally just started it last night because like I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I've been playing around with like ideas and everything, and like how I'm gonna start it, and just out of nowhere, it's just like boom! I literally like typed 5 pages out without even really thinking about it.
You know what? And that is exactly how it goes. Because let me tell you, when I wrote my book, I had no intention of writing a bock. I'm sitting there at work and I'm bored. I'm running the CNC machine. It's drilling a plate that's got 1,000 holes, which is like a 12-hour plate. I'm just bored. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to write a book. So I went up to the office. I got a composition notebook. I went back and I just started writing. And that's how my book came to be.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So whether or not it sells copies, either way, I got paid to write it because I was at work when I wrote it.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. But so, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the premise of your upcoming book is basically your life story, your experiences, correct?
Yes, pretty much, yeah. Because if I would have had a book like what I'm thinking about writing, like if I would have had that, it would have helped a lot. Like I was a cutter. I tried to kill myself, like all of this crap because of having an attachment where I grew up and having nobody to talk to because everybody thought I was nuts. Because I mean, the tiny town I was from, my high school graduating class was 24 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, there's these red eyes in the woods. They're like, what? I'm like, you don't see stuff like that? No. Or like knowing somebody was going to call before they did, or just knowing things all the time or whatever. And everybody like thought I was nuts. So I blocked all that off, and I'm just now starting to open it back up and try to understand it more. The, I don't know, psychic empath abilities that I have, that I've always had, that I kind of squished down when I was younger.
I mean,
it happens to a lot of people.
It does. Yeah. It does. And to be honest, you can only understand what the research tells us. So like realistically, are we ever going to fully understand it? Who knows? But going on top of that though, you were talking about your past and your childhood and stuff. You were raised on a property that had an Indian burial ground.
Correct. Yes. So I didn't know that until. So I'm trying to think how to word this right. I didn't really know anything about the property until I got older. I just knew that when I was young, I would see stuff in the woods all the time. I would feel watched all the time. I would get rocks thrown at me. I would see 8 to 10 foot tall black beings with red eyes. There was one instance where they were like a bluish color. There were orbs everywhere. We would hear stuff like talking or scratches or knocks, like anything you could think of happened there. Even poltergeist activity where shit would fly off the shelves. And then when I was a kid, like I tried like going out, I wouldn't go outside after a certain time. I would not go outside at dark, like after dark. My mom couldn't get me to go outside. Like my dad would be in the garage working on something. And, oh, go bring this to your dad. No, I wouldn't. And I didn't really know that it was me sensing what was there. And then when my dad died when I was 10, I kind of everything shut off.
I assume you and your dad were very close.
Yeah. I'm trying to think how to word this right. So since I've been delving into this topic, I've been realizing a lot of different things. And that's like one of my chapters in my book is like the realizations. So I always thought when my dad died, I ran into the room after I heard my mom scream and I saw him. No, I realize now that I astraled because so my family and I were celebrating my aunt's birthday and we had to bring my cousins back up to Chicago, and I wanted to stay longer to play with my cousins and everything. And then we got back and my dad was having trouble breathing because he had asthma, and we had I guess you could say instances a few different times where my mom would be like, we got to bring dad to the hospital. And okay, so I'd get my little brother ready. And so she came in we were watching Empire Strikes Back. She came in the room and was like, Jess, we got to bring, Dad's going to the hospital. Get your brother ready. Okay. So I got us ready, and we followed the ambulance. And then I heard my mom scream. And then I was in the room. I saw his dead body and everything. And then I was back in the waiting room. And I used to think that I thought I ran into the room. And my mom was like, no, you weren't there. And I'm like, oh, I must have astraled then, because she doesn't remember seeing me, but I remember seeing all of that. And then, seeing his body, seeing her crying. And then I was like back in the waiting room. And then the doctor said to my mom, like, how mature I was and everything. And that was like when I think I lost a piece of my soul that day. Cause ever since then, I don't have like an inner child. Some people call it that. Like I don't do games. I'm very mature. I was very, very mature for my age. So I think that day part of my inner child got fractured off my soul or something. So just last year was when I realized, oh my God, I think I astraled. I didn't actually go physically. And then that's when I kind of shut everything off, like all my gifts, just everything done. And then when I was 14, my mom said that he actually died in the driveway, not at the hospital. So being a dummy, I got a pendulum board and thought I was talking to my dad in the driveway. I was not. I don't know. Yeah, like every horror story, get you bored.
You know what? I mean, it's so synonymous, and I'm not dismissing the fact that it does happen, but it's not as common as people think that it is. But it does indeed happen.
So like I thought I was talking to my dad because it was just a pendulum board, and then after that happened, then shit started happening in the house and not just in the yard and stuff like that. And I was having trouble sleeping one night, and my therapist told me, oh, well, why don't you go record some nature sounds, like a river, a stream, or birds? I'm like, okay. So there was, because I lived in the middle of nowhere, so there was this like stream, I don't know, like 2 cornfields away. I'll put it that way.
I know that measurement. I'm from Alabama. I know that measurement.
Right. So I, hit record on it was, a tape recorder, not anything we have today. This was in the 90s. And when I was
have
listening,
2 analog tape recorders. So
okay. So I was listening to it and I heard voices on it, and I was like, what? Why are there voices? There was nobody around. And I was like really confused. And one of my friends who was about 4 years older than me, he was like, oh, those are EVPs. I'm like, what? And he explained it to me, and I was like, what? Like, okay, that's interesting. And it was actually in a different language, and it sounded like a ritual, which freaked me out. So I ended up doing a bunch of research in the area, and that's how I found out that that whole area was an Indian burial ground, because to get to the house, you had to go up this big hill. And if you think about it, a lot of burial grounds are, big hills. And there's a golf course across the street as well that had a lot of big hills. So that whole area was just on an Indian burial ground. And then I did research and everything, which that's also true. I found out that was true, as well as the house I grew up in was an old schoolhouse. So it was like a 1-room schoolhouse. And then people built onto it to make it more of a house than, just the 1 room. Cause I would hear kids laughing and stuff like that all the time and didn't really understand. TVs would turn on and off in the attic when there was no electricity in the attic. Whenever I had friends over.
That's definitely not normal.
Yeah, right. We had one of those really big propane tanks in kind of like the front of the house, because there was the driveway, and then there was 2 acres of woods around the house, and then on each side was a yard. The 1 yard was all fenced in for the dogs. The other yard had privacy bushes and had a creek in the back. So the yard that was fenced in for the dogs to run for some reason, rocks would always get thrown at us, and you could hear the ding of the propane tank when they would hit the propane tank or the driveway. They would go on the driveway, and like my friends people that like didn't believe in this would be like, okay, what the hell? And they go run and they're like, who the fuck's out here? You have a flashlight and machete and everything, and nobody was in the woods. So everybody like was like, I don't understand. Like, how is this possible? So
yeah, they were in full on lynch mob mode. Like, grab your pitchforks, grab your torches.
Pretty much. So that's when I had a few people that like kind of started to believe me, because we would be in the driveway and that stuff would happen and they couldn't figure it out. There's nobody out there. And then we did a little bit more research around the area, and there were these certain areas that were it was almost like culty. Like, this one house had an upside down pentagram on it. Another house had we saw like torches and people in robes one night driving around. There was a cemetery that I happened upon that had, I guess you could say, necromancy shit. There were graves that were dug up. The gravestones were piled in a pentagram shape with an altar that was gravestones that had like candle wax on it. That place is fucked. My ex-fiance and I, so I would think I was like 20, 21 or something like that. Me, him, and 3 of our friends. One of them, which was in the army, so he's very skeptical. Like, I think he said, if I can't touch it and kill it, it doesn't exist. So he was very skeptical. So we all went to the cemetery one night, and like we kept hearing something like walking next to us in the woods, like crunching. We would stop, and then it would like 1 or 2 more steps, and then it would stop. And he's running in the woods like, who's out there? Get out here. I'm going to kick your ass, like being army guy and everything. Typical. So we finally got towards the clearing of where the cemetery started, and he went up ahead, and he came running back. He's like, nope. I don't know what's going on. We're leaving. I don't want to be here anymore. And we're like, what? Okay. And we all got like a really bad feeling. He said that he saw like this gigantic black shadow figure right up against the woods, like just staring at him. And he said like his blood ran cold and everything. And then within 2 weeks of us going there, every single one of us almost died. This isn't my NDE. This is something completely separate.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah. So my army friend Doug was on his crotch rocket, and then there was a pile of pallets in the middle of the road. He wrecked his crotch rocket. My other friend that was with us was in one of his cars, and there were 2x4s strewn across the road. He wrecked his car. And then me and my ex-fiance Bobby, we were actually leaving that friend's house one night. And when you grow up in the country, you know, like, oh, 2 stop signs, you take a right, and another stop sign, you go left. Like, you know. So we left his house, and not even 5 minutes later, so it was like raining and stuff. And then like 5 minutes after we leave, I hear Bobby go, oh shit. And then I get thrown into the seat, and I had one of those gigantic CD books, like 500 CD holder.
Oh CD yeah, I remember those.
So that thing flew up, hit me in the face, and then like we like crashed the car. I had no idea what was happening. I'm like, what the hell just happened? And he said that when he was driving, like, so we shouldn't have, it was almost like we went through a time loop or something. We shouldn't have even been in the area we were. Just out of nowhere, the road teed. So he's like, it was either slam on the brakes and face plant into the ditch, or hit the gas and fly over the ditch. So he hit the gas, and we flew over the ditch. I ended up getting a concussion from that, but like we could not figure out like time wise, like, okay, we left at this time, and this is where we were. How is that possible? Like this should have been 15 minutes, and it was like 5 minutes. And he said that there were no signs that said like, you know, T intersection or stop sign up ahead. Just out of nowhere, hello, T intersection. Yeah. So ever since that happened, everybody that pretty much went almost died, and none of us have been back since. And both of my two friends that were very skeptical were like, I don't know what that was, but that was fucked up.
That's insane.
For sure.
That is insane. So we'll get to the NDE that you had in a little bit. I
Okay.
actually see, holy crap, we're already almost at 30 minutes. That's insane. But so I know you're a Reiki master, right?
Yep.
And you're also a sound healer.
Yeah.
So the sound healing thing, I know what Reiki is. The girlfriend does it, so I know what I know what that is to a little bit. I don't do it personally. I probably should, because Lord knows I have a lot of energy that probably needs to be shifted somewhere. But it's one of those things. I'm a skeptical person, so I'm not exactly saying I believe in it. But that's my opinion. You know,
Yeah.
that is what it is.
My fiance is the same, so.
So the sound healing thing is because I'm curious. If I'm not mistaken, that's where you use the bowls, right?
Yeah. I have
here.
Yeah, I have crystal bowls and I have metal bowls, and then you can also use tuning forks. So a lot of people will go to like sound baths where they lay or sit and somebody plays a bunch of the crystal bowls because they reverberate longer and louder. I love the crystal bowls. And then metal bowls, in my opinion, are more for like close range. So you could put them on the body, or when I'm doing sessions like at the expos that I do, I do Reiki for 10 minutes, and then I use the bowls that I can fit into my hand, and I kind of go around the person's like their head area and then down the body with the bowls.
Interesting.
So if you think about it, our body is what, like 70% water, 75% water.
Yeah, it's like 77.2% or something like that.
So there's been a lot of studies with frequencies and sound, and certain frequencies make the water like into patterns that are like very like the flower of life, or like stuff like that. Like it's a beautiful pattern. It stays that way for certain frequencies. And then other frequencies like 440 hertz, it's very chaotic and it's very bad for like the water, I guess you could say. Like it's like it doesn't go into a beautiful pattern and stay that way. So pretty much what it is the sound frequencies that are used for sound healing. It's the same premise. Since we're so much water, it heals the body on a cellular level. So as the frequencies are going through your body, which is 70% water, it's like realigning and healing your cells, getting rid of toxins and everything. So a long time ago, all music was 432 hertz, 432 hertz, which is literally like the sound of life. And the Schumann resonance, the frequency that the planet makes. And after, I guess you could say, the Nazis, World War II, they were experimenting with stuff like that, and they realized that 440 hertz makes people more angry and stressed out and fearful and uncomfortable. So the Nazis found that out. Well, as you guys know, America kind of took over some of the scientists from there.
Yep.
Right.
And after World War II, all music is recorded in 440 hertz now, not 432. Like Mozart and everything prior to World War II was recorded with 432 hertz. And after it, it's all 440. So if you think about it, that's why a lot of music will literally, you could feel it. Like certain music from a long time ago, it's like, oh, you get happy and relaxed and you're in a good mood. And a lot of music nowadays, people get more angry. And if you think about it as well, how fucking hateful is everybody today? You know, like there's so much negativity and hate in the world, and it's because of one of the reasons I think is because of the frequencies that are being pumped out through the cell phone, through internet, through the TV, through music, all of that. At least that's my opinion. And then you go to like places like Tibet and holy places where they don't allow that stuff, and everybody's just so much happier and more at peace because they don't have all of the electronic poison that we have over here.
Right.
So
And I would have to say that's fascinating to me because you just taught me something that I didn't know. And for anyone out there who is, and it's not often I don't know things. So
I'm telling you, just from having people around doing it, it helps when, you know, if you're in pain, if you're in a bad mood. I don't know what else to say. It's and if you get in salt water, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
If you get in salt water and do the whole deprivation and then you slowly with the light and the sound, it's wonderful. It is. I would love that today.
I know nothing about sound healing. That's why I wanted to bring it up. As soon as I saw it in your bio, I'm like, I need to know more about this.
Yes.
So anyone out there who's questioning what she's saying, she's certified in this field. She knows what she's talking about. Okay. So but it's just fascinating to me to think that the hertz of a sound can actually, you know, kind of heal your body. It's weird to me. Like I don't understand it. I'm gonna have to dive in more and do more research on this because now I'm curious.
He's gonna have a book like that next week.
You know what? I very well might, Gwen. You know me too well.
He's put this way, he's smarter than he looks.
So when something stumps me, I don't like it.
No, he does. He will go and research it. I promise you.
That's so funny.
So moving forward from that, though, you described to me that you had an NDE. We didn't necessarily talk about it, but you were clinically pronounced dead, correct?
Yes.
So if it's not too much, can we discuss the NDE that you had? Yeah. And I also want to ask, before we get onto that topic, because this is going to be a multi-part here. I love doing multi-parts. So you started discovering that you had abilities around age 5. So what made you realize that you had these abilities?
Pretty much, I mean, the property I was at, feeling
also,
things.
Yes, Morgan, bring your bowl. Sorry, wasn't trying to interrupt. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Like feeling things that weren't there, like knowing something was behind me or next to me, or the phone would ring and my mom would go to get it. I'd be like, "Oh, it's grandma," and she'd like look, you know, before caller ID, and it would be my grandma, and like that was weird. But like everybody else, like I'd say, like, yeah, I knew my grandma was calling like before my mom picked up the phone. That what? You know, everyone thought I was nuts. And then being on that property, feeling like somebody was like right next to me all the time, just like staring at me all the time. And everybody else is like la-di-da, you know, playing, having a great day. And I'm just like really uncomfortable. Like there is something around here right now. Or knowing something was going to happen. Like out in the country, you know, there's always animals crossing the road. There were so many times where I would be like, slow down. Why? I don't know, just slow down. And my, you know, whoever was driving would slow down, and sure as shit, a deer would cross the road.
Look,
like, how did you know that was going to happen?
If you're hearing animals in the woods, it's probably my brother and he's probably drunk. Okay. Just ignore it. It's not a Bigfoot. It's my brother. And he just decided not to put a shirt on.
So, that's too funny.
So going off that, you started discovering these abilities about 5. And so later on in life, you had this NDE, which those of you out there watching that does not know what an NDE is, it's a near-death experience. So could you, or would you, if it's not too personal, mind telling us a little bit about that near-death experience?
So when I was 11, I was diagnosed with scoliosis, and they put they put a rod in my back when I was 11, and then obviously I was going to grow more. So the doctors were like, well, after she graduates high school and she's 18, we'll have to, you know, fix it again. So I have 3 rods in my back. Like my back is like that, my thoracic spine. So 3 rods.
I have primary idiopathic scoliosis, so I understand exactly what you're getting at.
Okay. So 3 rods in my back. And then in 2008, like that was like one of the worst years. So my fiance of 4 years ended it with me, and then I started a new job at one of the brand new Walmarts that was being built in the Kankakee County. And just out of nowhere, I was like kind of like like I would cough and there would be little bits of blood, and I'm like, whatever. And me being stubborn, me being me, I'm like, that's whatever, it's fine. And one night, it was around St. Patrick's Day. I was staying at my friend's house because I obviously didn't want to go back home because my ex-fiance, we weren't together anymore, but we still had to live together at that time. So I was staying at her house. So we went for karaoke, had drinks, having a good old time. And I woke up at like 3, 4 in the morning and, quote, had a fit. Like, I just started coughing and I filled her toilet with blood. And she's like freaking out. And me being me, I'm like, it's fine. I'm fine. And she goes, get your fucking ass in the car. We're going to the ER.
Yeah, so it's one of those, I'll be fine. Coach told me to walk it off. Yep. I'm good.
So she brought me to the ER, and of course they were like, oh, well, you got a little blood in your mucus. And my friend's like, no, like, she literally filled my toilet. And they're like, oh, okay. They weren't taking it seriously. And I had another fit, and I filled the sink with blood. Like, I'll never forget the looks on those nurses' faces. Just, they were like,
oh, well, this just happened.
Mm-hmm.
So then, like, and it was, it's a small podunk town, so they weren't, that's not something they're used to. It's not like Chicago. Right. So they, like, before I knew it, there was just, everybody's rushing around me. They were putting IVs in me, putting pills down my throat. I don't know what the hell is going on. And then the next thing I know, like, that's it. Like, I remember that. And then I remember my dad standing next to me, to my left. Like, I felt his energy. He was right there. And I went to turn my head to be like, Dad, what are you doing here? And then I opened my eyes, and then my friend's face was like right in front of me. And then she's awake. And I'm like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? And then my mom came, and they were, oh, she's awake. Doctor's running around. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, right? I'm so confused. Well, it turns out that one of the screws from my first surgery punctured my right lung. So I was coughing up blood. So they couldn't remove the screw. So they had to take out that part of my lung. And I got airlifted to Rush Hospital from Kankakee. So, like, helicopter and all that crap. And then from what the doctor told me and for what my mom told me, they had to put me in a medically induced coma because of the trauma of, like, I was suffocating on my own blood. So they had to have one tube in to breathe for me, another tube to drain the blood.
Right.
So they put me in a medical induced coma, and I guess I wouldn't wake up or something. And then my mom's, because they had to, like, wake me up or something before doing the surgery. I have no idea why. And I wouldn't wake up. So, like, everybody was freaking out. And then my mom told me, I just found this out last year. She told me that I actually woke up on Easter, and there was a nun praying over me, like a really young nun. And I woke up and said, what the fuck?
I love it. That is classic.
And my mom was like, too. That's my daughter. Sorry about that. So I don't remember any of that, but my mom told me that's what happened. So, like, I woke up, I said, what the fuck? And then they like did whatever. And then they put me under to do the surgery. So they took out a third of my lung, and then they put mesh around my spine and the rods so that wouldn't happen again. And I bled out on the table 3 times. They called, or the first 2 times they brought me back with the paddles, and the 3rd time they actually called my time of death. And then I came back. And then, so I think what happened was I was dead, and that's when my dad was next to me, and I could feel him, and then I got brought back. Like, it's not your time yet or something. I don't know, but
not your time.
Yeah, like, it was like I could feel it's hard to explain, just free, like happy, free, like, I don't know. I've never felt that before, and it was like I didn't feel confined, like in your body you're confined. Like, I just felt like free, floaty, and happy, and oh, Dad, and as I turned to look at him, then I got pushed back into my body. So that was in 2008.
in that room? Did you happen to see yourself on the bed or anything like that?
No, I know stories of that, and I'm like, damn it, that would have been cool. But yeah, right? I didn't see like a white light or anything, and I didn't see myself or anything. I don't know where I was. I just know that I wasn't confined, and I was like blissful, euphoric type of feeling, and I know my dad was next to me. And like literally as I started turning to go give him a hug and say hi, I pushed back into my body.
Interesting. So I've heard stories from people who claim they never had abilities to begin with, right? And they experience an NDE,
and then they have abilities. Yeah.
And they wake up and they have the abilities, right? Well, obviously this is not the case here because you've had the abilities from a much younger age. But can I ask you, do you think that having this experience maybe enhanced your abilities a bit, or did you not see a difference?
I think because of the trauma of it, and also the fact that I blocked all of that out at a young age. Like I was experiencing paranormal, I would go ghost hunting, but I blocked all of it off. And then I was in I'm 21 years old, I'm getting drunk all the fucking time. And then I found out later.
Yeah.
I found out later that I was feeling everybody's shit all the time whenever I was out. So I would drink to try and feel better, and then it would make it worse. So it was like a cycle. So like as soon as I was, I guess you could say better and, whatever, and then I would go out, I definitely just felt people's emotions a lot more than before. And then I was drinking all the time and everything. And then I started going to college. So then I kind of was thrown into that for a while. But anytime I was around crowds of people, I would either be really uncomfortable or I would be having a good time. It just depended on who I was with. And I guess you could say who was at the bar, because there were times where certain people were at the bar and I was just like, I don't want to be here because they just had such bad energy.
You just get that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, and then I blocked it all out for a while. And then, in 2015 was when I started seeing my fiance now, and he was a fire performer and a DJ in Chicago. So we would go dancing, and then we like goth dancing, and then he would do the fire performing and the DJing and all that. So we were going out all the time. And then that was when I kind of realized, like, wait a minute, why am I feeling everybody's shit? Like, why am I angry? Why am I depressed? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And then I would drink to try and get rid of it, and then it would get worse. And then I didn't even
a temporary cure.
And then I didn't even realize everything until 2018. I got hurt at my job, and so I was on medication to help with the pain. And when I'm like, why is it that whenever we're out and everything, like I hurt worse? Like, what the hell? And then I was like, all right, I'm going to not drink and see if maybe the alcohol's fucking it up. Sure enough, I stopped drinking, and then my medication was working and I wasn't in pain. And yeah. And then that's the last time that I drank. I haven't had alcohol in 8 years.
You don't think about that at the time. I mean, you ran an experiment, and you were just in that moment, and you were doing what you thought was best.
Yep.
And you ran that experiment, and then you realized, well, wait a minute, I messed up somewhere along the way, but now I know what's going on, so I'm just gonna cut it.
And then as soon as I stopped drinking, that's when I really started to understand like my abilities and stuff more, because it wasn't like clouding it and being foggy. Like we would be. Well, I found out. So we, when Steve would get paid at exit, we would have to go into the basement. And the first time I went into the basement, I was like so uncomfortable. Like, oh my God, something happened here. Somebody killed themselves. I don't know. And then I was just like picking stuff up. Like there was this recliner chair on this one wall, and I looked at Steve. I'm like, I think somebody killed themselves right there. And then there was this, like you go down these stairs, and then there's like a kind of like this big pipe. And I was like, I think somebody hung themselves right there. What the hell is going on down here? And then something grabbed my butt, and I'm like, what the hell is going on down here?
Yep.
I mean, for the record, Last time I had to go to the basement to get paid, we're not going to discuss that on the show.
Right. So I was like, babe, I'm really, really fucking uncomfortable. I do not like it down here at all. I'm going back upstairs. And then a couple days after that, we just again, the universe being funny, we just happened upon a video on YouTube of people investigating exit. They got a SLS figure hanging from that pipe that I said I think somebody hung from there. And then there was also an article, somebody shot themselves in the section where I pointed to and said I think somebody killed themselves there. So I was like, oh my God. Like that was like the first big validation for me. So I was like, okay, I didn't know any of this, and I knew that when I was downstairs. So holy crap. Like I do have abilities. Like I always like kind of knew I did, but that was like the concrete validation for me. And then ever since then I've been trying to understand them more and stretch them out a little bit more.
You know, and my girlfriend and Gwen can tell you I'm horrible about this. She'll tell you the same thing. Every Thursday she asked me to practice with her. Mm-hmm. And me, I'm one of those such a skeptical mindsets that I'm like, well, if you're a psychic, you should already know. Yep. And it causes a lot of arguments. That's not the way it works. But like when we first met, we were on the USS Salem battleship doing a public investigation. Nice. And she went and she was part of my group. And I sat there for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days. Because she kept asking me questions throughout the investigation. I'm like, yeah, you're hitting on the history. You're hitting on the history. Because I am a history guy. To give you an example, Jesse, if you've never seen it, this is my research photo of Medfield State Hospital.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
That's how I research.
Yeah.
And so she was asking all these questions and she was hitting like dead on the nail. And so I finally, 2 days after the event, maybe 3 days, sent her a message on Facebook. And I was like, look, I've got to ask. How much did you Google before you went on the ship? And that's literally how we started talking. But you know what? I wouldn't change that for the world. It's awesome. But and she has changed my mind when it comes to people having these type of abilities. Mm-hmm. Because before, I would have told you straightforward, if you're telling me you're a psychic, you're bullshit.
Right.
But she has changed my mind on it 100%, and she is amazing at what she does, and I don't give her enough credit for it.
Another one of the really cool experiences that I had more recently that was, very validating. The first para conference I went to was Chris Fleming's. It was the Pop-Up Paracon in.
I've heard he's awesome.
Oh, he's amazing. He's one of the best people I know. Like we're kind of friends and stuff now, but I've always if it wasn't for Psychic Kids like him and Chip Coffee, that show, I don't know if I would be here today, because that show showed me I wasn't like alone, because there was nobody like me anywhere. So like when I just happened to see that show one day, I was like, oh my God. So if it wasn't for either of them, I don't know if I would be here today. So when I got to meet him and I found out he was doing a ghost hunt at the Paracon at the Woodstock Opera House, I was like, what? I was so excited.
You got to go.
So I went to that, and that was my first conference I went to. And during the investigation, I was with this one group, and we were down in the basement, and I don't know why, but I kept hearing the name Stanley in my head over and over. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And like, I looked at these two girls that we, kind of became friends and stuff during the investigation. And I looked at them, I'm like, I don't know why, but I keep hearing Stan or like Stanley in my head. And they're like, oh, that's interesting. And then the very last hour, Chris always does like a IT session seance type of thing where people ask questions and everything. And so everybody's sitting there. It was probably 25 people. And he had one of his ITC devices going, and he was talking to this guy that was in my group, because there were 2 or 3 groups, and this guy was in my group, and he was crying, and he was talking with Chris, and then Chris was like, wait, what's your dad's name? Your dad passed like what, 2 weeks ago? He's like, yeah. He's like, what's your dad's name? And he goes, Stanley. And I like, what? And then the two girls looked at me and they're like, oh my God. And I was like, well, that explains that.
Yeah, you
like,
can't make that up.
Like, why did I keep hearing that name in my head? And then it's like, holy crap. And then I felt bad for him. You know, his dad literally died 2 weeks ago. And like, I literally was like, I don't mean to interrupt, but I was hearing the names Stan and Stanley in my head, like while we were in the basement tonight. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah. And they were like, oh, wow, that's awesome. And Chris was like, what's your name? And I was like, Jessiy. And then we kind of clicked after that. Or if I put,
yeah, it's weird how that kind of connection thing works, isn't it?
What's crazy is I'm coming to find out Chris and I literally have had the same life, like with experiences. And I think he's like exactly 20 years older than me. So a couple weeks ago, so like, well, I heard a lot of his story at that Paracon, and I'm just sitting there like this all sounds so familiar. This is crazy when it comes to the paranormal aspects of a lot of stuff. That, and also our fascination with psychology. We both went to school for psychology, because we wanted to know why, like, people are the way they are. Like, oh, I have abilities. Oh, you're full of shit, and being made fun of and everything like that. Like, I wanted to understand the psyche more. Same with him. So a couple weeks ago, he held this little, just a small gathering for like Halloween type of thing at this place in Arlington Heights. So my friend Michelle and I went, to support him. And this one woman asked him a question. She goes, so do you think that there's other life out there, like besides us, like extraterrestrials? He goes, oh yeah, no doubt about it. And then he went into this story that literally triggered a memory for me. Like, that's what's been happening the past 2 years, is a word or a phrase or a song will trigger a memory like that, because I've had so much trauma in my life that I've repressed a lot. So he was telling her about when he was 5 years old, he stayed up late to see the Easter Bunny on Easter, and that he heard like a thump, 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 and he's like, oh, it's the Easter Bunny, because he was always told that the Easter Bunny has big feet, so he's going to be loud. And he saw this pink, like, I think he was pink with a purple vest. And then he said that that was one of the first times that he remembers being abducted. And he literally witnessed the whole block get abducted because he got regressed. He said he remembers the Easter Bunny and how tall it was. And he thought it was weird that it was only like 3.5 feet tall. And as he's saying this story, this repressed memory came back of when I was 5 and I was staying up late for Easter, and where I was laying down, I could see the door, and out of nowhere, I heard this thump, thump, thump noise, and then this Easter Bunny appeared. But what's messed up is it was like half of a ET, like an alien gray, and half the Easter Bunny. So he was like a darkish, like the fur was like a darkish pink, but he had huge eyes and he was smiling, but it was like pointy teeth, and he had a purple vest on, like Chris said too. And I was terrified. So I was like pushed up against the wall, hugging my knees, and then I don't remember anything. And
that's interesting.
As that memory resurfaced, I just started bawling, and everybody's looking at me like, hey, what the fuck? Why are you crying? And I looked at my friend Michelle. I'm like, I just had a memory, like a suppressed memory pop up. And she was like, what? And then I told Chris about it too. And he's like, you like saw through their screen memory, you see. That's fascinating. So like the ETs, like that's another specialty of mine, is extraterrestrial stuff.
So I was just about to ask about that, because through your bio, you said you're a CE5 facilitator.
Yes.
So if my memory serves me correctly throughout my research over the years, CE5 stands for Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Yes, correct. Yes. That's like human initiated contact. But I'm finding out that I think I've been, I don't know, taken or something, because one of my first memories of a child, I don't have a lot of memories as a child because of all the trauma I've had, and losing my inner child, I think, took a lot of those memories.
Right.
But this one memory resurfaced a couple years ago of me being in the backyard. I was probably about 5, and I heard like rustling in the woods by this creek that was in the back. And I looked up and I saw like the top half of an alien gray's head. It was like a bluish gray, like slate kind of color. And then I saw the eyes, and it was like here, eyes up. And then it moved to the left, it moved to the right. And then I remember being terrified and like, oh my God. And I wanted to scream and run back to the house. And I don't know what happened. I don't know.
That's crazy.
And that's just like the Easter Bunny story. I was around that age, stayed up late, and they, I guess, came into my room and were trying to look like the Easter Bunny, but I kind of saw through it. And like Chris was like, wait, so you saw the Easter Bunny, but you saw like a gray? I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh my God, that's really fascinating. And so we planned to get together to talk more about that. But like, it was really crazy how like the just, yeah, when I was 5, I stayed up late to see the Easter Bunny, but it wasn't the Easter Bunny. It was a gray. And then boom, memory came into my head. And I was like, holy crap.
No, that is insane. But guys, I see we got about 2 minutes left.
So, I told you it's going to be multiple shows.
We're good. You know what? I will gladly have you back on for another one. I'm just going to do a really quick rapid fire, and then we can kind of touch on other things next show. So, cryptids, do you believe in them, and what is your favorite one?
Yes, I do. And I got hooked on cryptids because of Nessie, Loch Ness Monster.
So you would love my Shadows of the Loch coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm a Mothman guy, if you can't tell.
I've seen Mothman.
I love my Mothman. I love it. Nessie's my second favorite. I actually somewhere here, my girlfriend got me a rock for Christmas that is from the Lake Ness.
Oh, cool.
So,
that's awesome.
It's cool to have. I love it. So I end my podcast with 3 questions. The last 2 are multi-part. First question. Everyone on their paranormal bucket list. I feel like if you're involved in the paranormal, you have a bucket list.
Yeah.
What place would you go to if price was not an option?
Oh God, probably somewhere overseas, like the Ram Inn or something like that.
Ancient Ram?
Or Lep Castle, something like that.
Ancient Ram, Lep Castle in Ireland. I love both of those answers, but since I like Lep Castle more, we're gonna go with Lep Castle. So you've got Lep Castle. Honestly, the whole reason I don't like the Ancient Ram Inn is because they have that room of the incubus, and I don't want to get raped while I'm sleeping.
Right.
So we're gonna go with Lep Castle. We got Lep Castle. You got one person you can bring with you. They can be alive or dead, and they do not have to be involved in the paranormal. Who are you bringing with you to Lep Castle, and why?
Chris Fleming, because if some shit goes down, I know he'll be good at it.
There you go.
That's fair. And you know what? The man is very steeped in Irish folklore.
Yep.
So that is a very fair answer. So we got Lep Castle. You're bringing Chris Fleming. What piece of equipment are you bringing with you when you can only bring one piece? And why are you choosing that piece?
First, I technically am the best equipment, but if it has to be a physical equipment, dowsing rods.
It does not have to be.
Me and some dowsing rods.
You know what? I hate my dowsing rods because I can pull mine out right now, and let me tell you, as soon as I hold them, what they're gonna do? They're gonna come back and slap me in the face. Gren's seen it.
Larry literally had the spirits at the Veterans Memorial Hall do that to me because I was holding them. He's like, "All right, the right one, could you hit Jessiy?" So it goes around and hit me, and then he's like, "What about the left one? Could you hit her with that one?" Then the left one went around and hit me, and he kept doing that over and over. It was so funny.
Oh, that's so wrong. But no, I can't use dowsing rods. Like, I can use a lot of equipment, but dowsing rods, if I hold them, they instantly spin around and slap me in the face. It doesn't matter. I mean, maybe it's just training, you know, maybe I'm not experienced enough with them.
Could be.
That's too funny.
I like mine, so I understand.
Right.
But Jessiy, let me tell you, we've reached that time. I am definitely going to have you back for another show. I appreciate you coming on for this hour and chatting with me. It was very enlightening. I think you have a lot to bring to the paranormal. I think you have a lot to bring in general.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I really I really hope that next show we're going to touch on everything else, because I had about 10 questions we never got. So
he never gets to all of them.
I never do, which I told you that in the pre-show. So, but if you wouldn't mind hanging out in the background, I think Gwen's got one more ad to run. And I typically will always ask my guest a post question. It's more of a personal thing. But Jessiy, thank you so much for coming on the show. But before I let you go, where can people find you? Plug your stuff.
Yes.
Pretty much I'm just a Facebook girl so far. Jessiy Hawthorne on Facebook. As far as I know, I'm the only one, and I spell my name Jessiy. So you can find me there if you want to chit chat or book a Reiki session or book me for an event or anything. That's the best way to contact me.
Well, for the record, I had to go through and edit every slide for your intro video because I definitely spelled your name wrong, and I realized it as soon as I did it.
Yep.
And also, Michael, I saw your comment. I appreciate that. I feel like this was a great show. I felt like it was amazing.
Ed had popped in. I don't know if you saw that. Of course, Morgan and Raven and Chris Brown, who just came to the network, and who else am I missing?
Oh, there was a lot of there was a good amount of people.
And lots of folks. Yeah.
But Jessiy, once again, thank you so much for coming on and spending an hour with us tonight. Your insight is amazing, and I will definitely be rescheduling you for next year at some point because we have so much more to discuss.
For sure. All right, awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. No, thank you. It was my honor. So if you wouldn't mind just hanging out in the background for a few minutes, like when this last ad, and then we'll get back to you.
Okay,
right, here we go. Put you back.
So
she's cool. Very cool.
No, that was a great show. The conversation went very fluid. I'm gonna be honest, when I looked up at the clock and I saw 30 minutes, I was like, holy shit, it feels like it's been 10.
Yeah. And then the next thing you know, it was like, it's time. Yeah.
No, that went really quick. It was a great conversation. I'm definitely gonna have her back on next year. Cool. I feel like we have so much more to discuss. But guys, I want to thank everybody out there for joining. Did I say Juning? Juning? What the fuck is Juning? No, but I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in tonight. Why do I keep wanting to say joining or Juning?
Oh, you need to tell them about next week.
I ain't got to tell them about nothing.
Yeah, come on now.
No, my CRS is kicking in. I don't know what next week is.
Okay, so next week is Thanksgiving week, and
oh yes, thank you. My CRS kicked in. So thank you all for joining in tonight for the Paranormal Unveiled podcast. Next week, we will not be doing a live episode, but we have a pre-recorded episode with a very intellectual guy. And this was a conversation that you are not going to want to miss. Like, the way that this guy speaks is bar none. Like, it makes me feel like I'm stupid. Like, this
Same
dude.
here.
This dude is amazing. So next week on the Paranormal Unveiled podcast, we have a pre-record with Mr. Michael Roser. And let me tell you, you are not going to want to miss it. But even if we're not here live, please still be sure to come back, tune in next week, same spooky time, same spooky network. And I'll see y'all then.
Good night.